Hello friends, in this video we will be starting with transportation. Transportation is a very much simple process. Transportation is nothing but the transport of substances from one part of the body to another part. So transport of substances from one part of the body to another part. First of all, we will discuss transport in humans, that is transport in animals. For the transport of substances, animals or humans have blood. Blood has two parts, blood cells and plasma. Blood cells are of many kinds, RBCs, WBCs and platelets. In this case, only RBCs will be considered. I am repeating, in this case, only RBCs will be repeated because RBCs has hemoglobin for which they can transport oxygen. Plasma can transport food, carbon dioxide, wastes, salts, etc. So we can see that overall blood helps in transportation in case of humans. For the easy transport or for the easy flow of blood, we need a pumping machine. We need a pumping machine which makes the blood flow. For this we have heart. So now let us have a clear view about the structure of the heart. We all know that heart is four-chambered: left auricle, left ventricle, right auricle, right ventricle. I am repeating again: left auricle, left ventricle, right auricle, right ventricle. In the left auricle, we have four pulmonary veins. We have four pulmonary veins which bring oxygenated blood, from the lungs. From the lungs, they bring the oxygenated blood to the left auricle. From left auricle, this blood is passed to the left ventricle. From left ventricle, this oxygenated blood goes through aorta to the body tissues. From body tissues, the body cells take up the oxygen and eliminate the carbon dioxide, which is the product in respiration. In the last video, we have already discussed about this, how carbon dioxide is produced in case of inside the cells. So this produced carbon dioxide is eliminated to the vein, and these veins come to the right auricle. These veins come to the right auricle with the carbon dioxide blood in the form of two major tubes like upper vena cava and lower vena cava. Upper vena cava brings carbon dioxide blood from the upper body part. Lower vena cava brings carbon dioxide blood from the lower part of the body. This carbon dioxide blood now travels to right ventricle, from right auricle, from right ventricle. With the help of pulmonary artery, carbon dioxide blood goes to the lungs for purification. That means for addition of oxygen. And then this oxygenated blood again comes to the left auricle. So in this way the cycle proceeds and we get the pure oxygenated blood. Okay, now pumping machine is over. Now we have some tubes for the conduction of blood. We all know that we have two types of tubes for the blood: arteries and veins. Arteries conduct only oxygenated blood, veins conduct only deoxygenated blood, that is they don't have oxygen, they have carbon dioxide. So we can also say it as deoxygenated and oxygenated blood, deoxygenated blood. Okay, arteries have higher pressure than the veins. Arteries have higher pressure than the veins because arteries have thick elastic walls so that they can withstand the higher pressure. That is why they have thick elastic walls. Veins do not have higher pressure, they have lower pressure, low pressure. That is why they do not have this type of thick elastic walls. Instead, they have valves. Now what is valve? Here you can get a get the concept of valve. Valve is a special design of a blood vessel or of a blood tube which allows only one directional flow of the blood. So in this image, blood can flow in this direction but cannot flow in this direction. So it is allowing to flow the blood from here to here. Now there is another kind of blood vessels besides arteries and veins. These are not separate blood vessels. These are the modifications of arteries and veins. Like this is artery carrying oxygenated blood. They becomes finer and finer. Finer in the sense, if arteries are this much, if the diameter of artery is this much, then capillary will be this much. So smaller veins, smaller arteries, or smaller or finer arteries. We can say smaller arteries or finer arteries. Same thing, these capillaries, that is finer blood vessels, then unite together to form the vein which carries the carbon dioxide. So capillaries are nothing but the fine arteries and veins. Fine means smaller arteries or smaller veins, smaller in size, which are present both in body tissues and lungs. Lungs we have already discussed in the respiration part. We remember that this is alveolus and these are the blood vessels, that is capillaries. Remember, oxygen, carbon dioxide. Okay, now without wasting time, we will go to the next part, that is the blood pressure. Blood pressure is nothing but the pressure exerted by blood on blood vessels, mainly on arteries. So blood, I have already told you that arteries have higher blood pressure, veins have lower blood pressure. So higher blood pressures will always be considered. So arteries, the pressure in the arteries will be considered. This blood pressure is measured by a special device. Note the spelling. The name of the device is sphygmomanometer. Normal blood pressure is 120/80 millimeter of mercury in case of a normal human being. Here you can see two limits, upper limit, lower limit. The upper limit is the systole pressure or systolic pressure. It is the pressure in arteries during the contraction of the heart. When heart contracts, I am showing you the previous diagram. When the heart contracts, this is the heart. When the heart contracts, the pressure in the arteries increased, and when the heart relaxes, the pressure in the arteries decreased. So this increased pressure in the arteries during contraction of the heart is the highest pressure, and pressure in the arteries during relaxation is the lowest pressure, which is the smaller value, 80 millimeter of mercury. Now we have platelets. We have already mentioned that blood cells are of three types: RBCs, WBCs, and platelets. Platelets help in blood clotting. If somehow we get injury in blood vessels, blood will come out. That will be loss of blood. To prevent this loss, we have platelets. It blocks the injured or damaged blood vessel. Now we have another liquid in our body known as lymph. Okay, lymph is nothing but a part of blood. How? So this is a capillary, this is a blood vessel or capillary, not the artery or vein. This is the finer branches, capillary. So capillaries have blood inside them. Okay, from blood sometimes cells, not RBCs. Cells means no RBCs, except RBCs, WBC and platelets. So WBC and platelets can be there, but no RBC. RBCs will always be inside the capillary. So cells, sometimes plasma and sometimes proteins comes out from the capillary. So these are known as lymph. These are colorless. Why colorless? Because they are not having the RBCs. RBCs have hemoglobin, due to which blood appears red. So they do not have RBC. That's why they are colorless. And they are not found in any tube like blood. Blood is always found in a blood vessel, but lymph is always free, and the space is known as intercellular space, and the lymph, that is why lymph is also called as intercellular fluid. Now what is the function of lymph? They help in transportation of nutrients, oxygen, carbon dioxide, etc. So they help in transportation only. Now we have transportation in plants. In case of plants, we find the transportation of water, minerals and prepared food. Now I am repeating again. In case of plants, we find transportation or transport of water and minerals from root through xylem to leaves. Remember, transport of water, minerals from root through xylem to leaves. For the purpose of what? Photosynthesis. For photosynthesis. After photosynthesis, food is prepared. This prepared food is transported from leaves through phloem to other parts of the body for utilization. So we can see that xylem and phloem are the main tubes which help in the transportation of plants. So in short, we can say that xylem is a tube which brings water and minerals, or which can conduct water and minerals from root to leaves, and phloem can conduct prepared food from leaves to the other parts of the body. And this process, the conduction of phloem, is also known as translocation. Translocation, the transportation of prepared food from leaves to other parts of the body by phloem, is known as translocation. Now here we have another important topic, transpiration. Transpiration is nothing but the loss of water through stomata. Stomata, what is the structure of stomata, what is the function of stomata, that has already been discussed in part 1. You can check it there. So transpiration is the loss of water through stomata. Now we have the last important topic, that is excretion. Excretion is the process of elimination of unwanted substances from the body. Our body is performing so many functions. We have studied already many functions. So when our body performs so many functions, there must be production of some unwanted substances also, and these unwanted substances must be eliminated out from the body because these are toxic. That is, these are poisonous or harmful for us. These substances should be eliminated out, and this process is known as excretion. For animals, these unwanted substances are eliminated by the formation of urine, and this urine formation is done by kidney. How kidney forms urine? Because they have functional unit, and the name of the unit is nephron. With the help of nephron, they can form urine. Through urine, animal excrete the unwanted substances. This is the kidney. This is the tube which brings the blood for filtration or purification. From blood, unwanted substances in the form of urine is eliminated out. When kidney is damaged, we need artificial kidney. When kidney is damaged, we need artificial kidney. The process is hemodialysis. Though the person does not survive on this device for a long time, but for the time being, it can help in excretion process. In case of plants, these are very simple because the wastes are simple. In case of plants, the wastes are carbon dioxide, water, etc. I have already told you that carbon dioxide and water excretion is done by transportation through stomata, and the other substances are eliminated by losing different parts of the body, like fall of leaves. In the leaves, that fallen leaves contain harmful substances, toxic substances of the plants. So they eliminate the whole part, the falling of leaves. Okay, so here we are finishing the chapter life process. In the next video, we will be coming up with the chemistry part, the first chapter. Till that time, thank you very much.